Okay, so let's get started. And so what we have here is that we have a folder called add from command line. And so what we'll start off doing is we'll just make a folder for it. We'll just call add from command line .js. And so then we're going to do command P and then we'll grab that file up. So this would be our JavaScript file. And the goal of this that we want to do today is first we want to write a function that adds 2 arguments, right? Then we want to pass 2 arguments from the command line into that function. So first things first is that we want to write that function, right? We'll start off with a const and we will just do add 2 numbers, and then we'll just start off with that basic arrow function first. And again, it takes in 2 arguments, right? So it'll have 2 parameters. So we'll call that num1 and num2. So these are just like placeholders. And then we can do a const sum. Since it's just adding the 2 numbers, sum is not going to be changing. So we will just use const instead of let. And then we just, again, want to return the sum. Now, to test this, right, we would want to call the function. Let's pass a few things in first. So let's call the function and we'll just choose 2 arbitrary numbers. So we'll do 3 and a 4, and then this should give us 7. Whoa. Right? It should give us 7. Now, to make sure that it is giving 7, because if you run it right now, when you do node, and then you call that, nothing's going to show up because nothing has been console logged. So let's just console log that. And let's stick this into a variable. So we can do const 3, 4. Okay, and then we can do 3, 4 there. So this should give us 7. So if I run that and I get 7. So one good thing about this, one thing that we could do to make it easier when there's a lot of console logs, because this is just one file, one thing, it's fine. But one good practice is to be like 3, 4, and then put that arrow there so that you can see inside that the console, you'll see, so if I run this again, you'll see that, okay, this is equal to 7. And it just gives it more of an indicator. Alternatively, what you could also do is you can just do, I would say add 2 numbers, 3 and 4. Remember, this is just a string, nothing's going to come out of it. And you could have just done it directly like this. So it will give you the same result. It's just that, again, I'm just putting this inside a variable and then I'm just console logging that variable. Alternatively, you can just call the function directly and console log that. Now, so it does seem like it's working. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to comment this out. And then we want to grab 2 arguments from the command line. So the first thing that we do is that we are something called, let's Google this actually. Let's see here. So something like this, process.argv. So let's just see. So let's do here. So const args is equal to process.argv, right? And let's just console.log args, right? And so what I mean by grabbing the arguments from the command line, it would be, so you do your whole, whoops, just doing it up. So you'll do node, add from command line, and then I want to do 3 and 7, for example, right? And so, what I forgot to do here as well, this was supposed to be my args. and you'll see that it's an array. So what I usually like to say, put it here, this is an array of strings, right? Looks like this. Oops. So if it's an array of strings, the first one has to do with that node path. The second one has to do with the file path. And then the next two are those numbers that we put in, but these numbers are actually strings. So the first thing I want to do is I want to do an array, and I want to just cut off these parts, right? Or slice. I always get mixed up with slice and splice. But if we take a look at our array splice versus slice. So a splice method returns the removed items, and then the slice method returns the selected elements in an array. So if we go to, like, it seems like slice is what we want. And then if we go here, we see those examples. We do an animal has an array, and then you do .slice 2, and then you're going to get an array with just those ones there. So let's do that. String num array. I know, so creative, right? Would probably be args.slice 2. And to make sure that we're on the right path, again, let's just console.log. This one would be string num array, string num array. So then let's clear this, and then let's do that again. So this again is our args, and this is our string num array, and that's what we want. Const first number is equal to string num array. So at index 0. So this should give us 3. Okay, let's just make sure that this is what we want first. Console.log first number. Oh, let's just clear it first. So again, this is our args, this is our string number, and this is number 3. So it kind of looks like what we want, right? But if we do console.log and we do type of first number, and then we do type of first number, right? And we run that again. You'll notice here that it's a string. We don't want it to be a string, because when you add two things together that are strings, it's just going to concat each other. So it's going to be, if it's 3 and a 7, it's going to become 37 as a string. But we want it to have the product of 10, a number 10. So what we have to do is we have to make it into a number. Number. So I just put number and then that string. So what I can do here is I can do number, and then I will do that. And now when we see it again, this one should be the number 3. So args, string num, first num, and type of the number is now a number. So this one here is now a number. Just put here number. And now similarly, we can do the const second number is equal to number, string num array, and then this time it will be at index 1, because remember that arrays start at the index 0. So now let's just console.log. This will be second num, second number, and then console.log type of second number. And you don't have to be necessarily too cautious about these. These are just for your own sake. It's good to be consistent, but sometimes I just go with the flow. So we'll check that again. Our args, the string array, our second number here, right, is 7, and it's a number. So then this one in that example would be 7 and a number. So that's great. So now with all that, we have to call up the function. So our function, the add two numbers. So similarly, what you would do is you can do add two numbers, and then you would do first number and second number. Now to make sure that this is the correct one, right, let's console.log, and then we'll call this, I usually just write the whole thing so I know myself what it is. First number, second number, oops, and I'm missing a bracket there. So you can see that the add two numbers is 10, and that's what we want because it's the product of 3 and 7 in our command line that we're passing through. Add from command line is equal to add two numbers, first number, second number. Let's just console log these ones out. And then we can do node, add two numbers from command line. We'll do the 3 and the 7 again, and it's 10. Oh, and look, I did not pass the two numbers in. I really should have. First number and second number. So let's do that, clear that. Let's go back up, and it's 10 and it's 10, gives you the same results. Now we can just try with some other numbers. Let's do a 5 and a 10. It should give us 15, and it gives us 15. So that's it. Now let's just clean this up a little bit here. And that's what we have.